to do this is I want to screen share.
Yes, please.
The notes on the screen where here you can see the 4 questions of Daniel chapter 8. And the last one, number 4, how long until the host is trodden underfoot? Or as we talked about last week, we had the global Armageddon, okay? And we should talk about that too, in Ukraine and we should get to it. And then we have a local Armageddon. So Armageddon is a place in the Galilee. We talked about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in order to come up with the interpretation of these questions and, okay, how do we come to this? Basically, we have multiple witnesses to this, guys. Okay, multiple witnesses. I'm not going to do all of them, but these are all in the notes. Now, one thing I want to explain, guys, the things that I'm sharing with you, we're doing every single week. We have notes like this, we cover a topic like this. And the way to get this information is you have to subscribe to the school. Subscribe to the school, leelandjones.com. Every week you'll see something. We send an email, we say meeting minutes and notes. And you get an email and you get something like this. So this is one that we did. And we have so many, I haven't had a chance to get to the videos. Okay. So let me see. Okay, that's the days. Okay. Basically what Daniel's timeline is, all right, is we're looking at it here. And we have in Daniel 12, it says 1,290 days. And the way to come to terms with this is that the 2,300 days, it happens twice. Okay, so we have one line in that we were waiting for a trigger event, and that happened on the 9th of Av. That's why the 9th of Av is really important. But that was in 2015. Now we said, okay, if something happens and triggers this, then this timeline goes into effect. Okay, and we would go so many days, and then in between we'd have 1,290 days. And then from there, this is called the daily sacrifice taken, or the host given against daily sacrifice, April 30, 2018. And then we add 2,300 days, 2,300 days again. And we come to, you can see it says here, August 2024. Now, precisely, it's August 16th. So this is Friday.
Wow.
Can you imagine how excited I am? Now, I mean, I know, Leeland, you're wrong, Well, guys, what if you knew this? What if you knew this? Okay. And what if you said this in 9th of Av, July 25th, 2015? That's 9 years ago. Now, you can't tell me, you can believe whatever you want, but I'm just telling you, you can't change what I believe. I believe this is the truth, man. Now, what happened? Let's talk about fulfillments real quick, because, if something is true, all right, well, it must come to pass. All right, our trigger event, 9th of Av, 2015. Okay, basically, it was the Baphomet statue, and that's a goat statue that was in Detroit, Michigan. And that's what it says in Daniel 8, that the grease is a rough satyr or satanic goat. Okay, so that was our trigger event. And then we said Obama had to be associated. And Obama had a speech. He was in Kenya this precise day. And he says, very cryptic, but we caught him. And he said, the sacrifices of Michigan. All right, now, Obama was the pre-runner to the Antichrist. And we said, Obama has to do something to be associated with this prophecy. And so he said, the sacrifices of Michigan, referring to the same precise day that the Church of Satan dedicated the Baphomet statue in Detroit, Michigan. Wow, that was a trigger event. I was like, oh, that was it. Okay. Then we count so many days. In this case, it's 790 days. And we come to precisely the woman clothed with the sun, September 22nd, 2017. Now, we knew that. We knew that already. Okay, so it's I just factored all this out, and I was like, oh, if this is true, then the woman clothed with the sun, that's the beginning of the 7 years. Okay, our next one, from there we count 220 days, and we come to April 30th, 2018. April 30th, guys, is when Netanyahu came out and he said, Iran lied. And he talked about their nuclear facility, and he's, you know, calling out war on Iran all the way back then. Okay. And so that really is when Israel declared war on Iran. Okay. And then what it says in Daniel, it says a host was given to him, or an army was given to him against the daily sacrifice. So again, that was a trigger event. They had one more sacrifice there. And then by the Passover the next year, it was the last sacrifice. So then Passover in 2019, that's the last time they've been able to do this daily sacrifice. Now, what daily sacrifice means, you have to do all the things. You have to light menorah, you have to do the grain offering, you have to do the incense, and you have to slay a sheep. You know, you have to do, these are all the things that qualify. The government says, no, no, no. And that's why I believe that the red heifer, okay, the red heifer got in there back in 2019, okay? But then daily sacrifice taken, they haven't been able to slay an animal in Jerusalem since Passover, basically. So that's where I was kind of like, well, I know there's all this excitement about the red heifer, but we'll see. I'm not saying, you know, either way, but it's most likely that it's not going to be sacrificed, okay? All right, so then we go from April 30th, then we go forward in time. We count from that, we count 1,290 days, we get to November 10, 2021. Okay, November 2021, what happened is we get the abomination that makes desolate. Now, basically, Ezekiel chapter 8 details all the aspects of fulfilled on that precise date was the anointing oil to anoint the Messiah by the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, precisely on November 10, 2021.
Wow. Okay.
So I know you think, well, you know, it must be something that happens in the white building, and that there's a gold statue of Zeus. Well, you know, Daniel chapter 8, it talks about different aspects of the abomination of desolation, and one of them is the incense. Okay, so it talks about the 70 elders of Israel, and then they all had a incense vial, and they offered incense. So that incense is exactly, the 70 elders are the Sanhedrin, and they offered the incense on November 10th, 2021, fulfilling the abomination of desolation. Okay, so we're going through, guys. We're just checking the list. And then at the end of the 2,300 days, second time, we come to August 20th, August 2024. And here we are, August 16th. Okay, now the other thing is, you know, you get the abomination of desolation. That's in Ezekiel chapter 8. Now, Ezekiel chapter 8, the date that Ezekiel gives, he says on the 5th day of the 6th month, right? So in the Gregorian calendar, and when we take the Enoch calendar, not the Jewish calendar, we take the Enoch calendar, that's going to be this Thursday, the 5th day, 6th month. Now, this prophecy, it falls on the 6th day of the 6th month. So that's Friday. All right. But, you know, it's amazing because Enoch is recording the date of the abomination of desolation and the temple and all these things. And that the next day after that is what we call the host Trodden. And so this would mean that we have a local Armageddon going on, and there's going to be a big event. There's going to be something happen related to, you know, Jerusalem being surrounded with armies. You know, and so now what it looks like, you know, we always have to have open mind. These always catch you by surprise. You can't say, oh, it's exactly going to be like this. But sitting here, right, as we're looking at it, John, we're looking at Iran's response to Israel.
Right. And
yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that, whether Iran, did it or whether Israel did it, I think Israel could use this opportunity to take out the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And that would
Yeah, it's
definitely,
all,
that would
yeah,
ignite the Muslim world against Jerusalem for certain. I mean, that would bring them all, surround the city for sure.
right. We'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting. Now we have
Wow.
multiple. Now, not only guys, we got this interpretation, we got fulfillments, but we still look for multiple witnesses. I just want to show you this is all in old videos. We covered this, but what this is, what we did is we took that information and then we applied it to the temple. So what we're looking at here is this is the temple, and if we start from one end of the length of the temple and you go to the back wall, it is a measurement of 100 cubits. Okay, a cubit is a biblical measurement. Now, the sacred cubit is the length of a cubit is 25.2 inches. Okay, so if we basically take that distance, 100 cubits times 25.2 inches, that equals 2,520 inches. That is the length of the temple. Okay, but we know in prophecy 2,520 relates to days. Okay.
Right.
So then what we did, we were curious, like, oh, well, what if we took this information on Daniel's timeline and we applied it to the temple,
okay.
Right? Because Daniel is talking about things like the daily sacrifice. Well, that's the altar. He's talking about things that we found out relate to the parts of the temple. Right. So what we did is we did that. And basically the first point in 2015 falls exactly in the middle of the altar. Then our next point, the sign of the woman clothed with the sun, that's right at the pillars.
Wow.
And then our next one is the 10th step in the porch. All right. And then we have another one. And this point is exactly the wall of the Holy of Holies.
Okay.
And then if we count 1,335 days, that is exactly the table or the incense altar. So all the points in this interpretation just so happen to line up perfectly with exact points in the temple.
Wow. Praise God. That's incredible.
This is just mind-boggling stuff, people.
Wow.
So this is just another one. We've also found this in Jeremiah 52 and other things we've shared in other videos, but these are just new things that we're sharing with you about, more recent things. So the very end of the temple, the very back in this line here, okay, as we relate it in time, this is what we call the host Trodden. Okay. And this is August 16th, 2024.
That's just right. I mean, that's this week.
So here we are, guys. Here we are.
Wow. I'm just sitting here, I'm blown away. Wow.
So I've been waiting for this 9 years.